Hi, my name is Jen, and I've tried to record this video twice already, so that's great. So this video is going to be about Karin Kayan's book on body positive parenting. This is a follow-up video, but it works to watch this without watching the first one. I've made it so that they can be watched as standalone videos. So, she blocked me. In the last video, I made a big deal about me being very happy about her answering all of the questions that I had. She's been very kind to me in the DMs, and I thought that she actually made a really good impression on me. I listened to the whole podcast, Haveristana, the episode that she was on. I just don't agree with any of her messages, but I agree with, you know, she has a humble and kind way of acting and responding and, you know, talking, and I appreciate that, even though I don't appreciate her way of writing. Like that's two different. You can criticize a person's writing and opinions without being critical of that person. However, now she's blocked me because she posted, oh my god, she posted this. She posted this. What do you say? She posted this in her Insta story and wanted people to check out a post wherein it says, "If you're ever thinking of trying to lose weight for any reason at all, please know this. We just don't have any safe or permanent way to shrink people's bodies. Weight loss efforts almost always lead to weight cycling, which is a health risk in and of itself, regardless of BMI." And this is complete insanity to me. Diets can be hurtful. I believe that. And they don't work if you return to your regular lifestyle after you've completed the diet. But claiming that we have no safe method of shrinking body or losing weight is absolutely false. If you are overweight or obese, that is due to an unhealthy lifestyle, unless you have a medical condition, of course. If you are obese or overweight, you are doing something wrong. And if you change that, then you will lose weight automatically. That is a perfectly reasonable way to shrink your size. But anyway, she blocked me because I said that the main doctor that has consulted her throughout writing the book, also, he as well benefits off of people who decide to give up on losing weight. She took extreme offense to me using the term give up on losing weight, as she described herself as a eating disorder survivor. Which I also am in that case. I don't understand this persistent use of the word survivor wherever you can. Well, anyway, so she took great offense to me using the term give up. Even though she's written an entire book about her not trying to diet anymore, it is obvious that she is overweight. She calls herself a fat body activist, but me saying that she's not trying to lose weight anymore is, you know, that's gonna send her over the edge. I don't believe that. And I told her that she has a part in the book where she talks about the criticism that she gets. She tells us that she tries to remain calm, but that she often lashes out because she can only take so much. This doesn't sound very healthy to me. And if your whole career is based off your body and your perfect body image, you shouldn't be so easily disturbed by comments like this. You have to have thicker skin, or else this is just going to be unhealthy. Well, my intention is not to be hurtful towards her or anybody else. I'm sorry if my comment was taken that way. But her message, however, is hurtful. This is what sparked the conversation between us in the first place, and then she just blocked me because it was okay to answer me when I was just asking questions, but as soon as I started to criticize her, then she got upset and blocked me. Alright, well, let's get into the video. And P.S., this video is sponsored by me. So if you want to support me, I have a PayPal link and I have a Swish number, but I've also got a Patreon right now, and I think that's the best way to support me. I have on the first tier, you get to join the Discord server, and I haven't really decided what other benefits. I'm trying to get the pre-releases of videos working, but yeah, it's a good time. The Discord is really fun. I'm really active on there almost every day, so you get to ask me questions and we can talk about the videos or whatever political topics and current events. Your support keeps this channel going. So let's get into the video. The writing is drenched in self-importance. We always get told when feminists get invited on TV how utterly important their work is. As with recently covered male feminist Attila Yoldas, and now with this body activist Kajan Andersson, when she sat in on the news morning show Nyhetsmorgon, the host made sure to say as much. She says, and I quote, "This topic feels really, really important." The same went for the activist teacher that I covered some time ago, although that was on a podcast and not on TV. This attitude is prevalent all throughout the book called Vital. The word vital in Swedish is literally life important, livsviktigt. The Swedish word important, viktigt, has the word weight, vikt, and vital has the word life in it, liv. So the book cleverly has the word weight and life in the title, which I honestly didn't think much of until I got to the last chapter of the book, where she explains the thought behind the title, and it is absolutely dripping in self-importance. And I quote, "Vital. It's a very strong word, isn't it? Vital, life important. Wait for life, important with life, important to respect your life. Vital, simply." It's kind of difficult to translate a play on word, obviously, but I think that you get the gist. She thinks that her work with body positivity and her book is very important. It's vital. On page 43, she even assumes that you will read the book a second and third time because of the sheer wisdom she spews that will move your entire being. Here is a direct quote. "Keep reading this book, even though it's hard, even though the guilt and the hurtful memories will taunt you. Read it a first time as a contribution to help the damaged child that you once were and who still lives within your gut. When you read it a second or third time, you can maybe start to incorporate it more actively in your own parenting." Notice how she wrote when and not if you read it a second or third time. That is very charming and humbling writing. This is a running theme throughout the book and brings us to the next topic. She claims to not be an expert while simultaneously shutting down the experts. In the introduction pages of the book, she explains that she is no expert in parenting. She hasn't written the book with the experience of being a doctor, child psychologist, or behavioral scientist, but she has written the book with the knowledge she inhabits from herself having been a child who hated her own body. On the surface, this seems all good and well. She is honest about her qualifications in that she has no qualifications. But how can an unqualified, self-proclaimed, past eating disordered adult write a guidebook in how you should raise your child? The maths don't add up. She even has lectures on the subject, and throughout the book she goes against the actual experts. I don't understand this mindset wherein if you're a past drug addict or if you're a past eating disordered, then you become some sort of expert only because you've gone through that yourself. I don't believe it. She proves to me time and time again that she herself does not have a healthy relationship with food, but she wants to lecture you on how to build one for your child. On page 48, she tells an anecdotal story about how much she hated the regular checkups at school where they would weigh you and measure you and check your overall health. I had to think a while to get the memories of those events back from my childhood. For me, the regular checkups were actually kind of fun because I've always been really short, so every time I went there I was hoping that I had grown a bit. For me, I hadn't even thought about the weight part, so I guess we all differ there. For her, the process was quite different. For her, the process felt very stressful, and she felt that her weight correlated with if she was valid or good enough, which I empathize with. That must have been very tough, but it wasn't her fault. Her parents and the grown-ups around her didn't have the right knowledge or the right tools to help her to be in the normal weight range, which she should have been in. Weight and height is something that is good to keep track of when you are a growing child. The doctors don't comment on your weight to be bullies. And I think that's something that is that she mentions a couple of times throughout the book, that she feels that doctors look at you and then they think that they know everything about you because you're overweight. The thing is that the doctors are the people who should be talking about your weight, because your weight is important. Throughout the book, she talks about an eating disordered society, while really I think it's just her past eating disorder that has colored the way that she views the world. Within the same anecdotal story, she suggests that the doctor should just talk to the child, and that you can find out so much more through conversation, asking about how the child feels and so on. Well, shit. I guess Karin Kayan just unemployed all the doctors all around the world. Or at least the doctors don't have to diagnose us anymore, because we can just feel what's wrong with us. Well, I guess they would still need to operate on us, but I'm sure that Karin Kayan will have a solution for that too. On page 68, she proclaims that it's not a problem for a kid to weigh 20 kilos too much. That's a lot for a kid. Having some body fat is perfectly normal. The frame in which you can be healthy is pretty wide, but 20 kilos overweight is a lot for anyone, and especially a kid. So 20 kilos is 42 pounds if you're American. A normal weight for a 12-year-old boy is 40 kilos. For him to be 20 kilos over that is an increase in mass by 50%. Excess body fat is dangerous. It can lead to visceral fat, which affects your organs. There are many side effects of being overweight, most of which we all are. There are many side effects to being overweight, most of which we are all aware of. So why would we allow our kid to go through the risks? On page 71, she says that you shouldn't talk about weight with your child because weight isn't important. She continues on the next page with saying that talking about weight with your child signals that weight holds a meaning, which in her mind it doesn't. On page 75, she continues to try and dispute the experts who say it's important to keep track of your weight by stating, she says that keeping track of your weight only leads to eating disordered behaviors, stress, and body hate. Like I mentioned earlier, it is clear that she has an unhealthy relationship with food, exercise, and her own body, which she in turn projects onto everyone else. Now, I can't say that for certain, but that's the feeling that I get. I'm sorry. Shouldn't be so categorical. Kayan tells a story on page 100 about how she went on television to debate an actual dietitian on what is the most healthy for a kid. Even though Kayan, as I have said, is not an expert in any way, she felt that she knew better and didn't take in anything of what the dietitian said. She says bitterly in the conclusion pages of the book that children fall victim under misguided and uneducated forms of health initiatives. What would make her initiatives more educated than those of the real experts, though? Her entire book is an initiative to get the public to follow her guidelines. What makes her a valid spokesperson, but not the dietitian, the doctors, the nurses, the child psychologist working on the children's fat epidemic all over the world? She doesn't explain that, other than she herself has been a fat child. We know this and we are tired. Part 1 of this video did worse than my videos usually do, and I think that part of that reason is that we are tired of these topics because they feel obvious and tired. The science is obvious, the message is tiring, the jokes are stale. Me talking about it feels like kicking in an open door. I get it. But what I don't get is that feminists aren't growing and developing their ideas and bringing new arguments to the table. I still have to talk about these stale issues because they keep showing up in the spotlight. This book was released this year. Attila Yolda's book was released only a couple of months ago, and Linnea Claesson is still standing in the limelight. The project, which is run by feminist Nina Rung, is still moving through the preschools, and this gender identity, politics, postmodernism, climate hysteria, political correctness madness is still overflowing through the institutions. The sleeping masses are getting spoon-fed these messages on a daily basis, and they are mostly targeting teens and kids to really get all of it as ingrained into their tiny brain as quickly and as effectively as possible. I know that you have all heard of this before, but not everyone has, and people still buy into it, so I will have to keep talking about it. Well, I'm not going to make this video longer than it has to be, so let me finish by reading you the conclusion of the book, and this is a direct quote. I initiated this book by asking if you would like to join me on a journey. Now you are almost done reading the last page. Despite this, the journey isn't over. The fact is that you've thus far only packed the bag. This is the beginning, the job of changing, redevelopment, your absolute most vital mission to give your child the basis and conditions for a good life. The backpack that you've just put on can feel heavy and it can hurt sometimes. I want you to know that, but it contains what you need for something that can save your child's life. Something that can change all of society and which direction it takes. Carry it with pride and determination. You are Frodo on your way to Mordor to destroy the ring and save Barbie from the lava, and you will succeed. Reach out to me if you need help, and I will be your Samwise. Good luck. No.